Success! Did you see that? That's how it's done. What's up, man?
What's up, famous?
You ready to do this?
Let's do it, man.
So we're here at Lake Fort Smith in Arkansas. We're gonna hike all the way to, what is it, Woolum?
Woolum.
That's where our car is parked. So it's gonna be 164 miles, what, 10 days maybe of hiking?
12.
12, yeah.
12 days. Right, well, make sure you stay hydrated.
Yeah. Plenty of Perrier. All right, let's do this, man.
Let's do it.
Lake Fort Smith. All its glory. It's definitely the buzzard district.
Remember that excitement stepping off on the
Yeah, no kidding, right?
and then how anticlimactic it is.
Yeah.
You just kind of walking in.
Honestly though, I felt pretty excited about CDT for the first like several weeks. No matter how much everything sucked,
Yeah.
you kind of had that, like you said, that aura of excitement. Here we go, first waterfall, what, like a mile in? Perry hiked the CDT in 2019.
Kind of.
He almost got a free helicopter ride out of the deal, but he did hike. How many miles did you hike? 17? That'd probably be about 1,700, right?
Yeah, closer. Around there.
Yeah. And that's how Perry and I know each other, is from the CDT Facebook group. So this is actually the first time we've ever met. So.
Well, here's the real story. Perry is actually Famous's biggest fan.
So this is like a fan hike. Pretty much.
This is my dream come true, to hike with Famous.
He's exaggerating. His real dream is
PCT.
the PCT.
With the Swedish bikini team.
That's right.
Doing yourself.
Got a bit more jungle vibe here. Never seen a neon orange spider. Look at that guy. Literally neon orange, like a spray paint.
Well, he's figuratively trying to tell you to go away.
I think what he's trying to tell me is he's delicious. That orange color is saying, eat me.
Do it.
I'm totally safe. There's no harm, just eat me. That's what orange says. When you see a bright color, it's an invitation to...
It's nature's way of saying safe to eat.
Exactly.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and here's our first chimney. Lone chimney here. Perry versus chimney. I think you could climb it.
They were going to free them from the Romans.
And this down here is Frog Bayou, and this is basically our first river crossing. We're gonna have to cross the water right there, and it's gonna be the first of many river crossings, really. And looks kind of big from here, you know, but I think it's about maybe less than knee deep. So we've got Frog Bayou to cross today, as well as Hurricane Creek. The water's gonna be cold. And so actually we would have started yesterday, but it was raining quite a bit. We got about an inch of rain yesterday. And to be honest, we were a little bit worried about the river crossings and everything and how they would be today. So far, Frog Bayou doesn't look too bad. I guess it can be pretty much uncrossable, you know, at times of after a heavy rain. But apparently, an inch isn't enough to, I guess, cross that threshold. You're not taking a leak, are you? So how's she look, man? What do you think?
You first.
You first? I'm great. I'm glad you volunteered to be first.
Why do you want to do this, man? Oh, nothing over knee deep.
Yeah, nothing over knee deep. That's good. Can you feel your feet?
Come on, dude.
Yeah. Well, moment of truth. It's gonna be brisk. It's really not even that bad. I mean, it's cold, but like, I don't know. It's all right.
I wouldn't want to get my shoes.
This is not bad at all. No, I mean, I'm all right. It's cold now, but you know, like at first, it's really not that bad. I'll tell you what though, I'm glad this is, I'm glad we're not swimming this one. I can handle the leg stuff, but you know, once you get the captain wet, man, it's all over. It's not waterproof.
You know, that day when you're really out there.
Well, she's dry. Bone dry. So if you do the PCT, when do you think you would do that?
Well, ideally once I graduate,
Right.
like immediately. Or if I'm going southbound, I don't have to leave till July.
So it's like what, 2022 maybe?
Yeah.
That's good to have something to look forward to, you know?
Yeah.
Especially as a little, you know, gift to yourself for graduating and
Right.
sticking through a school and everything like that. It'd be a great thing to do on the other end of that.
The more realistic scenario of finishing the CDT is much shorter.
That's true.
Stick with the same theme.
Think so?
The Mario Brothers.
I don't know, for this one, man, Bayou Billy.
Perfect.
It'd be Bayou Perry, man.
Bayou Perry.
Bayou Perry.
Is that my new trail name?
I mean,
I think it is.
it's a temporary trail name. After this, you could just go back to being regular Perry, but I think for this hike, you're Bayou Perry.
The Bayou.
Well, we were at Frog Bayou earlier. It's not a real bayou, you know, by Louisiana standards, but I mean, it's the best it got here, so you got to roll with it. Yeah, no kidding. Those first explorers and stuff, carrying like, you know, cast iron pans and stuff.
Or even like Lois and Clark. They're actually.
Yeah.
Didn't they overturn a canoe? And like Sacagawea saved all the gear?
Something like that. Sacagawea saved her ass more than once, I guess.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. I mean, I get it, like your first night cowboy camping. You're a little bit, it's a little bit unnerving, especially in a place in New Mexico where you're worried about, right, like bugs and stuff at night. Where did you do your first cowboy camp?
Between Grants and Cuba.
Okay.
A really nice tabletop, flat rock. And the reason I did it is because I was on some rock. So I really couldn't put in tent stakes.
Right.
And it was actually really cool.
You know, that's where I did my first cowboy camp too, on the CDT. It was between Grants and Cuba.
Yeah.
It was in one of those arroyos.
Probably.
That's where it was for me. It was a soft, sandy arroyo.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just the perfect spot, really.
Army combined with the National Guard is absurdly large. But I believe the Navy active duty pushes 400,000. Are we on a creek or are we on a trail? Oh, I see a wet thing in there.
That's what I was just about to say. The devil's eyebrows right there. Whatever that is. So this is mile marker 10, Hurricane Creek, first crossing of Hurricane Creek anyway. Cold. Does this one seem colder than the first one to you? Yeah, it does. It is brisk. It's amazing how that tree just like literally bent over like that, then kept growing. It's flowing like a hurricane, man. Hurricane Creek.
You just give me time to do it. I only buy my life. What do you have to lose?
Yeah, doing some trail maintenance.
There you go. That's my contribution.
Yeah, I think I definitely think walking, you know, doing these kind of long hikes is, you know, maybe one of the best ways to see the country, you know, really on foot, see it slow. Not only do you see the country, but like you said, you get to experience the towns a little bit. We got what, like half-hour daylight left, huh?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, we were hoping to make it to White Rock Campground tonight. We were thinking it was at mile 14. It's actually mile 17. It's really at this point just kind of find the nearest campsite and call it a day.
Right. You don't want to try and camp here or anything?
Oh, like on the road? I was kind of joking.
No, not on the road, but it's fairly flat.
Well, we're here at White Rock Mountain after dark. We made it.
Gloves are actually wet.
All my stuff's actually wet. Feels a little wet on the outside.
For the things that were not in the bag. You know?
Well, morning day 2.
It was cold last night. It was a cold night. But we had Earl to keep us warm.
Wowza.
Imagine this in spring.
Yeah, imagine this with a little color, right? A little bit of fall color. Maybe a sea of green.
Or just without the fog.
Yeah, and the moon's out.
So by the end of this trip, we'll have
yeah, and this is all the White Rock Mountain area here. So we would have come up last night over there from that hill, just beyond that little pass there, a little saddle.
I don't remember too much about
Well, I got a question for you.
what's up.
How come every time you see like a no trespassing sign, the biggest words are posted instead of no trespassing?
Oh, posted I think is a legal term. I remember my dad always complaining about that. I'm going to go anywhere to posted.
Yeah, but don't you think you'd use the largest real estate on the sign to say the one thing that you want them to not do? Think if they applied that same, I don't know, terminology to other things, like speed limit signs are posted, right? It's not like they say posted and then in tiny print below the word posted it says 45 miles an hour.
Yeah, I don't know, bro.
It's weird. Yeah, we got a little bit more some conifer action here.
Do you remember like coming out of the desert after Lord Furs and getting into like towards Furrow, Homestead, that first elevation where you could just pine trees?
Oh yeah,
really good.
Yeah, I remember that. It's kind of a milestone moment, really. You're like, oh wow, guess I'm out of the desert, you know.
When you're back into the desert.
Yeah, then you go right back into it. That was cool about New Mexico, though, is it was so varied.
It's a given that Colorado is going to be gorgeous.
Well, this is Salt Creek. Guess we got to drop our shoes and get our sandals on and cross this thing.
Yeah, the last time someone gave me a camera, I was almost charged with a felony.
You didn't drop it in the bayou, did you?
No. Yeah, it's not deep at all, really. I mean, oh, deeper. You want to get the step.
There's a little tadpole or something just swam by.
Oh, it's probably a leech. Do you remember that part from Stand By Me?
Well, up we go. BP, how many feet we got to climb here?
Like 1,500.
1,500? 1,500 foots?
New Orleans is unique though, you know? Like it's like New York in the sense that people that are from there are really proud of being from there and they think they're special. Interestingly enough, New Orleans never suffered a real recession. They had, the industry in New Orleans is tourism, which only suffers in extreme circumstances. And of course, the maritime industry and oil and gas. And they've never had a serious recession.
That's pretty cool. Looks like you could almost hide out there in the rain. That one kind of goes back a little ways. Yeah, we're gonna have to reassess their situation a little later, right?
Yeah, I think it'll be more about planning how late we hike Monday or early we get up Tuesday.
I gotta say the trail maintenance so far has been
Phenomenal.
yeah, phenomenal, pretty good.
Yeah, you can call it a complaint.
Yeah, they got the down tree hotline. And so we're maybe like 23 miles in now. I'm already starting to get some pretty serious knee pain. And to be honest, I've done next to nothing to prepare for this hike. And in fact, I've done quite a bit of sitting before the hike. So, not in the greatest trail shape. And just kind of suffering through the pain at the moment, hoping it gets better over the next few days. And for me, this is the first hike I've done since I got back from Nevada almost 4 months ago. I've really done very little walking. So I'm just not quite in shape like I'd hope. And really, to be totally honest, put very little effort into preparing for this hike, pretty much just got the gut hook app and went for it and did almost no planning really. And that was sort of the appeal to a trail like this for me, is that, you know, it's not a big intense hike that requires, you know, months of planning and stuff like a Nevada hike or, you know, the CDT even. So it's kind of just a nice, quick, easy thing to do without much effort. But I am paying for the fact that I didn't really train for this hike. Got quite a bit of knee pain actually today, and really haven't experienced that in a while, so a little bit of an ego check, I guess. I was hoping my legs from, you know, my last hike in Nevada back in August would carry me to this one, but I guess that was wishful thinking, waiting 4 months for getting back on trail. That's a nice break spot.
Maybe a seat.
Thanks.
You don't have any soreness or like irritation where your pack digs in though?
No, actually not with this pack.
Never have?
I don't really remember having any major issues with it like that. My Osprey pack I did, but
Okay, just the pack.
yeah, the pack you have was digging into my shoulder big time.
Yeah.
And you know, actually looking back, I had a little bit of that too in Nevada with this pack, the Z-Pack's our call, but I would say that it wasn't anywhere near as bad as the Osprey. Looks pretty nice.
That log bridge.
First time we've really like walked along a creek, right? It's always just been come up and cross it and that's it.
We've always gone down into the ravines.
Yeah, so it's kind of nice to walk along one for a minute. I'm just glad we don't have to walk through it. Well, Bayou Perry is stoically perched upon this overlook here, so there must be something cool. Yeah, it's like the biggest overhang we've come across yet, huh? Like waterfall if this was actually flowing. Not really. I'm dirty, but I'm not that dirty. Oh, the trail's down there. Yeehaw! I mean, this is cool. Just in this angle, it's like multiple tiers of waterfalls and stuff. It's really cool. Perry, this is called Spirit Creek.
That's a good name for it.
Spirit Creek. It's lifting your spirits, is it not?
Yeah, totally, man.
It's lifting my spirits. You know what else would lift my spirits? A good spirit later.
Yeah, some bourbon.
Why do they call it spirits?
They lift your spirits.
Apparently.
All right, how are we going to tell us here, Spirit Walker?
Spiritsman. Yeah, two different approaches here at crossing Spirits Creek. He's taking his shoes off while I'm trying the very risky shoes on approach. Perry, this one. See what I'm saying?
The glare is so bright.
But I gotta switch feet though to make that happen. For me, I want to do it like this. Okay. Yeah. Not there yet, but. Whoa.
Now what? You're twisted.
Now I'm twisted and I'm on a slippery rock. Yep. My other foot slipping. Got myself in a pickle. Oh, okay. Here we go.
You're nuts. I'm getting dizzy just looking at you. Fuck you, man. Fuck you, dude. Now go do that again for the GoPro.
Success. Did you see? That's how it's done. By you, Perry. Let this be a lesson.
You didn't fall, you fell, but you fell onto the ground, okay? You just happened to land in the right spot, but you fell.
That was a strategic maneuver, my friend.
Right.
Yep, this is all Spirits Creek. Not just one spirit, but there are multiple spirits.
Or is it possessive?
Yeah, it could be possessed. And down here is Spirits Creek Falls.
Right up over that ridge.
All right, up and over. And repeat. Got done filtering water for the first time, almost at the end of day 2, and it's 4 o'clock now, so really only an hour of daylight left. This time of the year it gets dark around 5, so kind of at this point we're like, first available campsite is what we're looking for, you know, can't really be too picky. We were trying to find a spot last night, ended up having to walk a couple miles more than we wanted to walk in the dark in that fog. And the way we're feeling, we just don't really want to do that again tonight. Yeah, but I see a path. And it does go around the hillside.
All right.
Have faith in the trail.
Good.
I was just saying, this is like the last remaining bits of green, like we saw earlier. Like everything else is pretty.
Something about this elevation. I don't know. This plant,
Day 3. I'm just waking up here along Fane Creek. Really getting to see it for the first time. We arrived after dark last night. You could just hear it, kind of see the general size of the creek. We couldn't really see any detail. So we're gonna need to walk downstream a little bit here and find a place to cross. It's like about freezing right now. Water's probably barely above freezing. This is could believe that. You want a trekking pole? Dude, where are you gonna get out on the other side? Cold. Thankfully, it's not too swift. Oh, God, is it cold though. Man, is it cold. God. Oh, this is frigid.
Joe Kennedy famously pulled out of the stock market.
It's day 3, we're like 35 miles in now. And the knee pain I had the other day is getting to the point where it's really not willing to deal with it anymore. So there's no point in going another 130 miles and suffering through it and paying for it for another couple weeks or months, really, because that's the reality of pushing through an injury. It's not really doing any favors. So we're heading down to Cherry Bend. We're on the final descent now. We're gonna try and get a hitch back to Lake Fort Smith. And that's it, unfortunately. It's kind of hard to deal with at the moment, but been dealing with it for weeks from now, I'll tell you that.
I guess pick up.
I'm guessing. Morning. Oh, thanks so much for coming out.
There's Earl.
There he is.
There's Earl. I'm carrying him just like I said I didn't do.
Oh, Earl, you wimped out. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, we really appreciate it.
Where are we headed? Fort Smith?
Yeah, if possible.
But I got some.
He's hurt. He's limping.
I just, overuse, I just didn't do enough walking before I came out here.
Thanks. You want to see the mileage he's done.
A lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it, about an hour drive?
Yeah.
Well, Perry, we tried. We made it, what, 3 days, 35 miles?
3.5 days.
3.5 days. It does sound better than just 3 days. And it's basically all my fault. I didn't do enough pre-hike training, and I feel like an idiot for not taking my own advice, because I literally have kind of harped on people that have come with me, and now you know what I mean.
You train, bro.
I did, but yeah, it is a bit of an ego resetter, right? Lesson learned. Next time there's just no way you can skip the pre-hike training, no matter.
That trail was no joke, man.
No matter how little it is, it makes a
down.
big difference just to do something, to get out there and hike 2 miles, 3 miles, 4 miles, because to just kind of get up out of your armchair and then just go and think you're going to do a 164-mile hike is just.
And we spent 2 days in a hotel.
Yeah, 2 days in a hotel, 2 days driving. It's a failed attempt at the Ozark Highlands Trail, but lesson learned. We'll get past it, and
Still a beautiful 3 days.
on the bright side, we got some hot cheeseburgers waiting for us as soon as we get into town. So I say let's go get those. Well done, sir.
Likewise.
To the cheeseburgers. So it's about 10 days after the hike. I'm back at home, and I figured I'd just give you guys a quick update on basically how I'm doing and what I would do differently next time. So my knee itself, I'm fine. I didn't injure it. I didn't have a sprain or a tear or anything like that. It wasn't a sudden injury. It's really just an overuse injury. And these kind of things happen when you go from very little inactivity to a lot of intense activity all at once. And that's why we do training hikes, and this is the result of not doing the stuff that I normally do. And I'll get into that in a second. But really, I want to share this experience with you guys because it's important for people to realize that these kind of things, they can happen to any of us. But sometimes we let our guard down, and I think we relax on doing the things that we know are probably best for us in the long run. So I'll give you the backstory on my time leading up to this hike. So this summer, I had hiked for about 2.5 months out in Nevada on a route that I created called the Basin and Range Trail. I'm working on the videos for that right now. When that's completed, I'll put a link up here that you can just click on and watch those videos. So I finished that in August, and it had been about 4 months since I've completed that hike. So after I completed the hike, I really didn't do a whole lot in the way of walking. I did a lot of fishing, so I was on my feet and like walking riverbanks and stuff, but we're talking like, you know, max like maybe 2 or 3 miles, you know. So it wasn't a whole lot, but I figured just the fact that I'm on my feet, you know, 5 days a week, 4 days a week, doing these kind of things for a few hours a day is pretty good, you know. But on the other side of that, when I wasn't on my feet, I'm in front of the computer sitting all day. And then, you know, in the several weeks leading up to this hike on the Ozark Highlands Trail, I mean, I was on the computer for, you know, 8, 10, 12 hours a day, video editing and working on some other projects. So, you know, that's the problem right there. You know, all the posterior chain is just very tight from doing all that sitting, and I didn't really do a lot of stretching. I did no walking. So, you know, that's the reason why I'm in the scenario that I'm in. And really the only other time I had knee pain like this was in 2013. I hiked Michigan's high country pathway. It's 84 miles. I did it in 4 days. I remember it being the month of May, and I really had done nothing leading up to this hike. I just kind of went out there and did it. So it was the same scenario as this, where I went from, you know, 0 to 100, no training hike. And, you know, this is the result of that. I'm pretty confident of that. But I wanted to share that with you guys so you know what kind of things cause these kind of issues. And what I would do differently next time is that I would just, I mean, even if I had gone out for just four training hikes of 3 miles each, you know, that would have done wonders, because I've noticed that when you come out of these periods of inactivity and you go and do a few walks for the first time, you know, you just go out and walk 3 miles, and I can feel it in my shins, I can feel it in my hips, and I can feel it in all these places that I felt it out there on the trail that I was really hurting. And, you know, obviously it's you know, you're feeling it on a much lesser extent on these training hikes, and that's the whole idea, is that you went out there and you got these muscles a little bit sore. They had time to recover. You go out and do a few more training hikes, and these muscles strengthen just a little bit. I mean, we're not talking about doing anything crazy. Like I said, just 4 or 5 training hikes would have probably, you know, prevented me from having this kind of problem. Obviously, the more that you do, if you were doing this for weeks on end beforehand, you know, all the better. All I'm saying is you can't go from 0 to 100, right? You have to go from, you know, 10 or 15% of, you know, trail readiness, or 20% or whatever. You just have to not be at 0, right? So it's just vitally important to go and at least get some training hikes in. If you do a lot of sitting, if you're not very active, and I'm not saying it's the end all of, you know, solution to not having knee pain, but I guarantee you that it's going to put you in a better position to go out and do these kind of hikes without having any injury, without having pain, and just give you a better chance of completing it if you at least do something before the hike. And I normally do, and that's what bothers me, is that I kind of broke my own rule on this one. So again, I just wanted to share this experience with you because it's something that can happen to any of us. I think we let our egos get the best of us sometimes and say, you know, I can just go out there and do this because I did this hike a couple of months ago and I've probably still got my trail legs, and you know, you tell yourself all these things. So the moral of the story is, get some training hikes in, make the time for it. It's very important. Your body will thank you. And I know I'll be back to Arkansas in the future, and I'll give the Ozark Highlands Trail another shot. So I'm pretty much done hiking for the winter. The snow is falling here in Michigan. I don't have any plans to go anywhere out in the Southwest or anything and hike. I've got a ton of video projects to catch up on, and by the time I do that, it's going to be time to start planning hikes for 2021. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit that notification bell, because YouTube has changed the way notifications work. If you don't, you're not going to get notified when my new videos come out. So if we did well, ring the bell. Remember, don't put off planning your own adventure. And until then, thanks for watching, guys. Hope to see you in the next video.